run defense seem to find some more success than the pass rush, I should say. Is that just a matter of play calling on their part, or is it just maybe the personnel that's in there? It seemed like you guys limited to 74 rushing yards, and then in terms of pass rush, and you got maybe 1 or 2 sacks.
Yeah, and again, there were a couple things that we have to get better on in a pass rush. When you evaluate yourself on a pass rush, you say, okay, now what do we got to do better? What do we got to get better at right here? And there were a number of times when he was hit right when he threw it. Also, there was a number of times when his feet eluded us and got out of the box, which you saw. Anytime a quarterback scrambles as much as he did, you must be getting some pressure on it, And I think if you remember, there were a number of times when he ran right up the middle and made some bigger yardage than you ever want to have happen. And we were rushing it aggressively, but there's a time sometimes when you have to say, I'm going to rush, but I got to make sure I stay in this lane. I got to rush, but I got to make sure that I read what's happening and come off my rush, and all those things that come together.
Greg, on the third downs, that was obviously such a consistent hole in this game. Is there a focus that's lacking, especially because that's obviously we talked about that being such a critical situation?
No, I don't think it's a focus that's lacking. I think in some ways it's hitting it. It's all right. This pressure, the guy comes completely free. Sack him. This one right here, the ball gets tipped, intercepted. And me, call a all-out blitz this time. All right, on the next one, call a 3-man rush. And I mean, honestly, there's times when you're making calls that you are either on or you're not on. Yeah, they're all sound. But if you're not on, then you got to make up for it some other way. If you're on, you got to hit it, and I think that's what's happened. But again, you know me, I'm not saying this to say it. I didn't do a great job in my mind, in that game. And calling it, when you're calling the defense and it's your job to call the defense, then you're either successful or not successful calling a defense. And especially when you say that you've got good enough players, which I believe we do, and therefore I think, I look at myself in the mirror, and that's why it was a hard day on Sunday. You gotta. These kids deserve you to do a great job, and that's why I'm gonna work my butt off to make sure that these kids get a great job, and then we have the success that I know is around the corner. I really believe that, and that's me saying it, but I'm with them every day.
All right, we'll go to the back in the right.
Couple of things, Coach. You mentioned guys biting on certain coverages, different things maybe the offense was doing, and maybe some misunderstanding from a scheme standpoint. How do you go about changing that? And have you thought about changing the approach so that it becomes a snap thing where they see it right away? And then your thoughts on Christian Hackenberg and what you've seen from him.
Yeah, the other thing that kind of happens sometimes is these guys want to win, and they want to do really well. And you have to guard against a lot of times at every position of taking a chance to try to make a play. And then the next thing you say, well, why didn't you turn that loose and do that? And that's what I say, when you're really going, when it's all hitting, you take that chance and you get that interception. If it isn't, and you didn't do it, and something happens, then pretty soon then it breaks down. And we have to make sure that we're doing it all right, and believe that when we do it all right, we will have the defense that I believe we will have. As far as Hackett, he's good now. He's good. He got a great arm. He can make all the passes. He's a football player. He's a football player. This will be a big challenge. And they've got some skilled wide receivers, and I'm looking forward to them coming in here and when you don't play up to the level that we've set here, you look for a game like this to have an opportunity to do it, and that's what our intentions are.